Alright, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Alright, testing again, testing again. And again, and again. Alright, I think that's good. No, Tony, you are testing good. Alright guys, well welcome to another YouTube stream. I'm gonna go ahead and just kick this off about 10 minutes early. I'll just do some rambling and whatnot. Oh hey, I meant to do something. I meant to reset it first. So yeah, we are back with another weekly stream. We're gonna be doing some Mega Man games tonight for the NES. So we're gonna start with the first Mega Man. And we're going to move up to Mega Man 2 for sure. Depending on time, I might try to tackle Mega Man 3 as well. We'll kind of see how I feel. So yeah, I just wanted to... oh man, let's see. So I got about 10 minutes. I usually start at 9. I'm going to wait for some people to try to roll in before I kick this off here. So... wanted to give you guys a heads up. I uploaded a new scripted video on Sunday. It's about the puzzle game Zoop from the 1990s. This is one of those scripts I've had on my hard drive semi-unfinished for years now, probably at least 3 or 4 years, and so I finally got it done about a month and a half ago. Finally recorded it and finally got around to doing the video. So overall, I think it came out pretty well, considering I don't do scripted videos very often anymore. So I'm definitely out of practice when it comes to that stuff, the editing and the voice work and stuff like that. So, but I think it turned out really well. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it gets my point across, and so check it out if you haven't seen it yet. You can go to my uploads, or you can click the card in the top right-hand portion of the screen. Anybody watching this after the fact, or even during the live stream, Zoop, that video should be up there if you guys want to check that out. And as always, I'd love to hear your feedback on that sort of thing. And yeah, we actually got another Patreon supporter this week as well, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out. Trevor McAleese. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but thank you for your pledge on Patreon. The previous Let's Play, the public Let's Play that's going to be posted on Sunday won't have your name in it, because that's already been edited and published, or uploaded anyway before you pledged. But thank you very much for your pledge on Patreon, in case you hear this. So myself personally, this past week, been having a lot of computer problems. About a month and a half ago, I bought all brand new parts to build a brand new computer from the ground up, and it's just been the build from hell, unfortunately. So it's one reason I haven't been super communicative these last few weeks in particular, especially like on Facebook and stuff like that. My streams have just been kind of like, you know, bodged together, just sort of like, hold on a second. the topic for the stream would literally come up like the day before. Normally I try to plan the stream out at least a little bit to try to do something that I think is interesting for both me and you guys, but these last few weeks I've just been like, you know, taking the easy way out. And this is sort of like one of those cases, but to veer away from the first-person shooter theme that we've been doing the last few weeks, I figured we can do some more true retro stuff, Mega Man, and so yeah, I've had a bunch of computer problems recently, and I'm still dealing with it. I've pretty much replaced every single part in the computer to troubleshoot these reset issues I'm having. And so I'm going to reach out to AMD tomorrow or the next day to RMA my CPU, because aside from changing to a completely different model of motherboard completely, there's nothing else I can replace. I've replaced everything else. So I'm going to send the CPU back and see if that does the trick. And it's just been a major headache. I've come home from work every morning this week. I haven't been able to practice for any Let's Plays or anything, and I've just been troubleshooting that computer and spending lots and lots of extra money that I never wanted to spend on it to try to get it working. So yeah, we got about 5 more minutes before the main stream normally starts. Like I said, it's around 9 is when I start, so I figured I could just spend the beginning just sort of like thanking Patreon backers and stuff like that, giving you guys a heads up on what's going on with me, and rambling a little bit, because I like rambling, and I haven't rambled since last stream. Yeah, no, I don't play many Resident Evil games. I'm not really a big fan of the survival horror genre. I like Resident Evil 4 a lot, but I'm not really a big fan of the originals with, you know, the classic tank controls. Just, they're way too slow for my taste. I need stuff that's way faster paced. But yeah, so you guys probably won't ever see me play a Resident Evil game on stream, unless it's part 4. I mean, I do have a soft spot for the first one, because I did actually buy that game on the Sega Saturn when it was new, back in the day. And, but I mean, survival horror's never really been my cup of tea after that. I never got into Resident Evil 2 or 3, or Code Veronica. I didn't get into any of the other sort of survival horror-like games, like Fear Effect. And there's a couple of other ones on the PS1, so I'm not a big fan of the genre. It's not really my cup of tea. I like fast-paced action games for the most part, which is why I like Resident Evil 4 so much, is that it was so much faster and more intense than the other ones from an action standpoint. I mean, there's times where you'd have like 20 enemies on screen. It was ridiculous. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but it would feel like you had 20 enemies on screen. I played the hell out of Resident Evil 4. Wow. Yeah, I beat that game multiple times. I did the Mercenaries mode with all the characters. Resident Evil 4 killed RE for you. Well, I don't hope... God, I'd hate to know what you think about Resident Evil 6 then, if Resident Evil 4 killed it for you. Let's see. Explosive Notes, how are you doing? In K-Town, how are you doing? Yeah, Mega Man 1 was actually a very difficult game when I was a kid. It was the hardest of the Mega Man games for me. And, you know, it's still a challenge compared to some of the other Mega Man games on the NES. And some of that is just because there's a lot of really unfair parts to the game. Like, I was actually just kind of practicing on a Lech-Man stage just real quick to get the hang of, like, the input lag and stuff like that I'm dealing with. It feels like this game is designed for you to go through it in, like, a very specific way. Like, you really need to get Cutman's weapon in order to deal with a Lech-Man stage appropriately. There's a lot of those little dudes that go along the platform, or like they sort of like travel along the platforms, and you can't kill them with your regular Mega Buster. You have to cut through them or use fire or something like that. So whereas the later Mega Mans, you had, I think, a little more, like, the levels were designed in a way where you had a little more flexibility in which order you tackled the bosses. It's not to say you can't defeat a Lech-Man, you know, as the first boss, but especially when you're 6 years old, you're probably not going to. Especially since the boss will kill you in like 3 hits. The enemies in this game do a ton of damage. Hey, Jose. Thank you, man. Hey, Andy Author, how you doing? Wayne! How you doing, Wayne? Wayne knows all about my computer troubles. And Payne, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream, finally. And, gotta give a shout out to Major Havoc as well. Alright, so it's about 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So... Awesome, man. Well, I mean, that's, you know, that's the most I can hope for. You know, you guys find some sort of value out of the videos, be it it's a time killer for you if you're at work or something, or maybe you're stuck in a game like Castlevania and you need help with how to get through certain parts, or maybe, you know, some of my videos interest you in the game, and I think that's the coolest thing if you guys go out and actually check out the games I cover, because a lot of the games I do Let's Plays on and things like that, like, I enjoy a lot of those games, and I want people to check them out, and so if you're actually going out and checking them out, that's really cool. So, all right. So, man, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna do the easy way out. We'll do Gutsman first. Gutsman has some tricky platforming in the beginning, but he's a really easy boss, and the rest of the stage is pretty simple as well. Once you get past the very beginning. Now this is going to be a little awkward for me to jump right into because Mega Man 1 has a slightly more distinct feel than the later Mega Man games. Like starting with Mega Man 2, the controls and movement became a little bit more responsive. Mega Man is like slightly slow to start up in the first game. Almost like there's a slight delay, and you could tell like you can actually just sort of like tiptoe forward. So you've got like a frame or two, maybe a little bit more of delay before you actually start up your run, and that combined with the fact that you know, I'm playing this through the AVS on an HD TV, so there is a teensy tiny bit of input lag, and that combined with Mega Man's sort of like slow to start movement makes this one the most awkward to get adjusted to. So if we give this a few minutes, I shouldn't have a problem adapting. So far, I'm doing okay. It does feel a little weird, though, after coming back from some other Mega Mans, or even something more responsive, like Super Mario Brothers, which I did a Let's Play on last week. That actually is still super responsive, even on the AVS on an HD TV. Right, we're gonna go ahead and just tank that. So you can kind of see how a lot of enemies in this game they dish out the damage like crazy, and that's one other reason why the first Mega Man is a little bit more difficult than the other ones on the NES. I don't know if it was really just me getting more experience as a gamer as a kid and playing, you know, the Mega Mans in order per se, but as the series went on, I felt like they got easier and easier as they went on. With a couple minor exceptions, like Mega Man 3 has some pretty tricky parts, like when you're trying to fight the Mega Man 2 bosses. And that's actually not even really fair, to be honest with you. Like, the Mega Man 2 bosses in that are just... they dish out the damage like things in Mega Man 1 do, and they're really quite unfair bosses. And if we get to Mega Man 3 tonight, we might not. Depends on how fast I get through these games. I'll sort of like speak more of my thoughts on those as we get there. You know, good ways to play retro systems on an HD TV. Well, if you're just trying to use the original systems, you want to get an upscaler of some kind. Yeah, you want to get an upscaler of some kind. Upscalers can be really expensive, though. Like, I have a FrameMeister. I'm not using right now because I have the retro USB AVS hooked up. That's how I'm playing these NES games. As I'm doing it straight through the AVS. The AVS, if you want just like dedicated hardware replacements like that, those are great solutions too. The AVS will play NES and Famicom games out of the box, and it's a nice clean 720p picture. The box itself doesn't have any input lag, but a little bit of extra input lag might actually be induced by your television itself. So yeah, like I said, I'm using the AVS for this. But for my other stuff, I use an upscaler, the FrameMeister. But the FrameMeister is not cheap. It's like it was almost $400 after shipping. And the unfortunate thing about quality upscalers is that pretty much none of them are cheap. I think My Life in Gaming did a video on upscalers not too long ago, and I want to say that they found a relatively cheap one that sort of got the job done, and it would probably be fine for you know, most, you know, casual players. People like me, though, that do a lot of like video recording and live streaming and stuff like that, definitely want really good upscalers, though, to get that best quality. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right, as they say. So. Yeah, no, the composite to HDMI converters aren't very good at all. And, now the expensive upscalers can actually make composite look better than those cheap converters. But it's still not the ideal solution. If you do get an upscaler of some kind, ideally you want to start going, start hooking your systems into it with, you know, better AV connections. So like on the Sega Genesis, you can do RGB out of the box, and you can basically do RGB into the upscaler, and the upscaler will convert that over to HDMI, but it'll look beautiful. It'll look like pixel perfect upscaled on your TV. Genesis especially has some of the best RGB. Hey, Miku. Major Havoc, don't feel bad, man, about Patreon. I don't expect anybody to support me there. Like, just keep watching my videos. That's it. I mean, if you like the videos, that's the most important part, man. You don't have to feel obligated to support me on other sites or anything like that. It's just when people ask, they're like, "How can we, like, you know, support you in other ways? Like, we like your videos, we want to help you out," and I'm like, well, okay. And that's kind of like where I got the Patreon idea from. Patreon's been around for a long time now, and I avoided it completely. I didn't feel like my channel was big enough for something like that. But, you know, apparently there are a handful of people that do want to help me out that way. And so, you know, it doesn't hurt to have that. But don't by any means feel guilty because you can't help me out there. But do not feel guilty at all. Just enjoy the content. Enjoy hanging out on the live stream. And, that's what it's all about. For Dreamcast, you want to do S-Video. If you want to go a step further, you can get a VGA box. But I'm not a big fan of the VGA box because it's not compatible with every single game on the system. And there's a couple games in particular I really like to play that aren't compatible with the VGA box. Even through the forced method, where you can force the games to work with it. One of those games is the first GigaWing, and that's probably my favorite game on Dreamcast. And I can't play it through the VGA box. So for Dreamcast, I just do S-Video. And through the upscaler in particular, it looks actually looks pretty solid. I haven't really done a whole lot of Dreamcast videos, but one of the more recent ones I actually did do was 18-wheeler American Trucker, American Pro Trucker or whatever, and I did that I think sometime, I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 months ago. And actually you can check out that Let's Play and kind of see what it looks like S-Video upscaled. It's not too bad. It gets the job done. Enjoying in progress. Hey Larry G, how are you doing tonight? Hey Cat. Yes, GigaWing is the same as it is in the arcade, except the soundtrack has been remixed on the Dreamcast one. But gameplay-wise, it's pretty much identical. VGA box to your HDTV, you can get a VGA to HDMI converter. They're not too expensive. They're probably like 20 to 40 bucks, something like that. I have one, and it works alright. And, you know, it looks decent enough. You're still really going to want that, you know, a nice quality upscaler, though, if you want to do it right. But the VGA to HDMI box is the cheap alternative, and it gets the job done for a lot of people. So. And there was someone near you selling a copy of Gunbird 2. Yeah, so just a heads up, guys. I was having some router issues earlier tonight, so if the stream just all of a sudden goes down, I'll try to troubleshoot it, and hopefully it'll be back up. I actually just got disconnected from my chat laptop. I always have a separate laptop to the side of me that's just there for monitoring the chat, checking like stats, like how many people are watching, and making sure the stream is up and running. And Andy Author, no, you're thinking Big Rigs. Big Rigs is the one that is notorious for being horrible. 18 Wheeler is a really fun arcade game by Sega. It's actually, you know, what's funny about 18 Wheeler, it's a very similar type of game to like the classic early linear driving games by Sega, you know, kind of like Outrun. It's basically point A to point B, with a couple different routes, you know, to each exit. It's actually a really fun game. You can smash through stuff and get extra points, and it's a good game. I highly recommend 18-Wheeler. 18-Wheeler I always avoided. I was like, you know, it's a Sega arcade game. It's probably good, but I'll try it some other time. And I always pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off. And when I finally gave it a try last year, I was actually blown away by how much fun it was. I was like, oh man, I wish I played this sooner, especially back in the day. Tokyo Extreme Racer is a nice game. I agree, Kat. Why did I just do that? I was looking at the chat. Mega Man wanted to move where the chat went. Where the chat was. Yeah, I mean, Tokyo Extreme Racer, it's like, I don't know, open world is just, I would put that very loosely. Tokyo Extreme Racer is really just one track. You drive around that track in circles. And then you can go the opposite way if you want, and that's pretty much it. It was kind of like the precursor to what is now like the modern open world racing game, which is cool. But actually, I actually kind of prefer its simplistic design, where you're just driving around the same track over and over. It's all about building money, and, you know, upgrading your car, buying new cars, getting fast enough to the point where you can pretty much just take out any rival. And it's just about taking out all the rivals, and it was highly addictive for me, and it's a nice looking game for Dreamcast too. I like the original Tokyo Extreme Racer a lot. It's a really, really fun game. And, when's the last time I played this game? Probably not that long ago, honestly. I mean, I've played this game so much over my life that I don't usually ever need practice when I go into it. No, I don't practice up before the live streams. Not at all, actually. I do practice for my Let's Plays. Depending on the game, like my Castlevania Let's Play recently, I didn't practice that. I just jumped right into it. But to be fair, I do play Castlevania a lot on Twitch. My Super Mario Brothers Let's Play, I didn't practice at all, because it's Super Mario Brothers, you know. The games like that, even for the Let's Plays, I might not practice. But for live streams, I never practice. I just have a plan on, you know, what I'm going to do for the stream, and then that's pretty much it. You know, live streams don't have to be perfect or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about my performance on these things. It's more about just the live interaction and things like that. So... Hey, Ronnie. Just that good? I don't know. I would say just, just that familiar with it, I would say. I mean, some of these old games, like Mega Man especially, pretty much all the Mega Man games on the NES, it's just muscle memory for me now. Very little thought has to go into the the gameplay for me. Alright, so we're gonna switch over to Cutman. It is Cutman, right? I think it's Cutman. Eat lead. Damn it, Ronnie. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use Electman on Iceman. Oh yeah, so I actually got kind of sidetracked earlier with the whole router thing. So my router, I was actually having issues earlier, about an hour and a half ago actually, and it kept sort of like locking up. Like all the lights in the front were normal, but I would lose connection to the router completely, and I knew the router was locked up because I couldn't even connect into the router's dashboard. You know, 192.168.0.1 or whatever. And when that doesn't come up, you know, like something's really wrong with your router. And so I reset the router a bunch of times, and it would come up for like a couple minutes, and then it would just immediately go back down and lock up again. And so what I did is I cracked open the router completely. It's got 4 screws in the back, and so yeah, I opened it up. I noticed that the router, and I've noticed this for a while, that the router was just pretty warm. And I don't know how warm these things are supposed to get, but they aren't very complex devices. There's not a lot of components on the inside of them. And I assumed it's probably a bad thing that's getting really, really hot. So I cracked open, you know, the case. And so now the router is actually sitting on its side in the open air. And the heatsink on top of, I guess, the main processor in the router, it's very, very hot. And so I'm hoping that this solves the issue, at least temporarily. I'd like to go through this stream without resets. But the reason I'm telling you this story is in case we go offline, it's probably because of the router, and I hope we don't go offline. I mean, it hasn't really ever been a consistent problem until today. It's been like an on and off issue. Like I might have to reset it like once a day. Not even once a day, but like maybe like once a week I'd have to hard reset it. But we also, I just want to give you a heads up, we also had some thunderstorms just roll through, so there's also the possibility that the power could go out. We don't get thunderstorms around here too often, and so now that it's actually warming up, we're starting to get them more frequently. So, do I get brownouts at all? Not usually, Cat. Yeah, not usually. Alright, that's that. No, nothing computer-wise right now, Ronnie, is playing nice with me. Well, I mean, my laptop's playing okay right now. And the chat laptop seems to be okay. Yeah, kind of a really bad time for the router to start acting up too, because you know my main rig is not playing nice at all, and that was not cheap. That was a really expensive computer, and so having the router start to act up too is just like an extra kick in the balls. Kick them when they're down. That's kind of like what it feels like. It's just like I'm down and out right now because of my main desktop computer, and now the router starts acting up. It's just like, God, it's just one thing after another. You know, as long as the stream's working though, you know, it's one of those things where like I can get my mind off all the computer stress I've had over the last few weeks. These last 2 weeks in particular have been really stressful because I've spent so much time, pretty much every waking moment off stream in the first half of the week has been troubleshooting the computer. So, you know, I've clocked at least 40 hours into troubleshooting this damn thing, so not fun at all. That's just so much time wasted that I could be using to do other things, like make more videos. These last few weeks I've been making videos at the very last minute right before they have to be uploaded, which is not the way I like to do things. I like to get ahead of schedule and not be stressed out with the videos, but your cable box runs really hot even when it's off. Wow. That's interesting. Hey John, how are you doing? See if we can get a little bit of health back here. Just like in the other Mega Man games, you can try to grind out a little bit, maybe get some drops. Oh geez, that's a horrible time to get a brownout. AC stops working. There we go, got our health back, that's good. Alright, so I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm just going to use Iceman on Fireman. I always have a hell of a time trying to get through Fireman without, like, taking damage or anything, so I usually just look at that! Like, if you were 6 years old playing this game, how the hell are you supposed to avoid any of that? That's the thing about the first Mega Man, and I can almost see why the game wasn't that popular when it first came out. Like, apparently it wasn't very popular in Japan, and it definitely wasn't popular in North America. Some of the bosses are just absolutely brutal, and I know watching like the speedrunners play it, I know there's rhythm and rhyme to bosses like Fireman. I haven't been able to figure it out personally. Mega Man 2 I think fixed a lot of that. Mega Man 2 was a lot more a little more, I don't want to say like streamlined, but it was a little bit easier for people to get into. It wasn't as brutal. It still had a great balance of, you know, it's just a great balance overall. You know, there's, you know, you got your easy parts, you got your challenging parts. It's just a good mix of it, and it's just Mega Man 2 in particular was a very fun, like, very nice flowing game. And then that's when Mega Man became popular in North America in particular. It was all Mega Man 2. Am I going to use the pause trick? I thought about it. I'm going to say probably not, actually, unless I just get really frustrated. We'll see. Hey, Stock Lock. Oh, right on, man. Well, congrats on working full-time again. You need that money, so... And realistically, what I should be doing here is using... Yeah, I should be using that magnet beam. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I always use it at that part, but... I think we have a bunch of extra lives racked up. 4, not too bad. Yeah, I don't really agree there, Andy Author. I respectfully disagree. I am way better as a gamer now than I ever was in my life. It's just a matter of practice, you know, and still playing. When I got, like, back in the retro games, kind of hardcore in 2009 when I started my YouTube channel, trust me, I was rusty at a lot of these games. I mean, the Mega Man games were never really that difficult for me to get back into, but, like, when I went back and played Ninja Gaiden again for the first time in a couple of years, like... It was almost like I had to relearn the game from the ground up again. I mean, I still remembered some techniques, but it's a practice thing, you know? And if you sit down and you put the time into practice, you'll find that you'll be a lot better now than you probably ever were before. You just gotta put that practice in, so... You know, thanks to doing so much with YouTube and now Twitch in the last couple of years... You know, that has really helped me keep my skills up, as well as continue to evolve my skills. You know, I still learn new things in these games. And with these old, like, NES games in particular, it's all patterns, man. Like, you can learn a pattern, then you can get good at these games. You just gotta know what the patterns are. It's like this guy has the exact same pattern every single time he goes across the screen. There's going to be the one where I have to jump over 2 at once, right here, just like that. So, all patterns, it's all practice, getting better with your response times, you know, your eye-hand coordination, reflexes, is good. And you get better at those things naturally the more and more you play these games. And especially the more you try to actually learn from your mistakes on these games. I also disagree there, John Gaines. I think Contra is super easy, man. Contra is a really easy game. Like... I think people really overstate, like, the difficulty of that game. Again, just like, you know, like Mega Man 1, it's about knowing what to do when and where. And that spread shot, oh man, in Contra. Keep the spread. That's all you need to know. You just gotta practice, you know? Just gotta practice. That's right, I don't really have anything here, so I'll just do this. And you know, the thing about Contra is, like, you can beat that game in, like, 10 minutes, you know? It's not like Mega Man where you've got to dedicate, like, an hour. There's a lot more to memorize in a Mega Man game. Contra, I mean, god damn, I beat that game when I was in, like, 1st grade. And Contra was one of the first games I ever actually 1 credit cleared. Not 1 credit cleared, like, no death cleared. I do hear a bunch of people on some of the gaming forums say that Contra is very difficult, but I just, when I hear statements like that, I think, okay, you probably haven't practiced it, you know, or learned the game. Once you really know what you're doing, man, you can breeze through Contra. But yeah, games like Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, you know, there's so much more to memorize, and so that's why those games in particular, there's a lot of people that, you know, even decades after their release, they still can't finish them. Those are very demanding games in terms of, like, the memorization factor. But just like any other game, you know, you memorize it, you know, it eventually becomes second nature, and then that's it. Battletoads is hard. Yes, Battletoads, that is a very, very difficult game, and you know, if anyone ever says that game is difficult, trust me, I understand. I went through the trouble of finally finishing the game, and boy, what trouble that was. That was an experience. I'm glad I did it, but I can totally understand when people say they'll probably never be able to beat Battletoads. Now, something like Contra, on the other hand, no comparison. Not even close. So that was actually a pretty good fight against it. Normally I get wrecked at the doppelganger. To be honest, you suck at Contra. You could be good at Contra, Pain. I guarantee you. If you put a little bit of time into it. God, now I just want to fire up Contra, but I know I'll get a copyright claim on it from Konami. Oh, then that's cheap. They spawned me right under that guy. I was looking at the chat. Hey, Michael, how are you doing tonight? I'm just going through the chat right now. Now, Gradius, on the other hand, is a legit, like, difficult game. That is a tough game. And on the NES version, I don't think you get any continues. And they actually made certain part. Well, there might be a continue code, but by default, you don't get any continues on the NES Gradius. I was actually trying to learn it recently. Finish it for the first time. I'm familiar with the game, but I've never actually finished the first Gradius on NES. And they made some things really, really difficult in that compared to the original arcade game. Would you be willing to do a stream with PSX Dooms? This is the audio is out of sync in the videos. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know why those long plays have audio sync issues now. They didn't before. And I think it was because I did the audio removal, YouTube's audio removal, because they got copyright claims from the Orchard Music, who, I guess, Audrey or Aubrey Hodges goes through to, you know, deal with copyright stuff with his music. I plan on doing Let's Plays of the PS1 version again, so I will do that. I'll probably end up doing a Let's Play before I do a live stream of PS1 Doom again. Andy Author wants me to demonstrate the pause trick, and so what happens in Mega Man? Mega Man is the only Mega Man on the NES where you can press select to actually pause the game, and if you press select and pause it, when you come out of pause, your weapon will do another hit for like free. And so what you can do is you can just keep pausing like this, and the weapon just goes slowly across the screen. And if you do it right, the weapon will hit the enemy or the boss a bunch of times. And that's how some people like to defeat certain bosses like the Yellow Devil. I sometimes use that, you know, other times I don't, like today. I figured today I would just try to do it legit. I think in my Let's Play, like from 3 or 4 years ago, actually not even 3 or 4, I think it was like 2 years ago when I did those Let's Plays, I think I used the pause trick in those Let's Plays. Alright, let's see what else the chat's saying. I'm just sort of like scrolling back up to see what people have to say. Contra 4 for DS is awesome, but insanely difficult. If you guys think the first Contra is hard, don't play Contra 4. What I like about the first and second Contra on the NES is that they're not like complete memorizers, you know? You can sort of just play, and you know, it's just the way those games are laid out. You don't need to have the split-second timing that you have to in later Contra games. So from Contra 3 and on, they became total memorizers. Like, if you don't know when this one specific enemy is going to appear, you're going to get hit by him and get killed. Things like that, and that's like the entire game in Contra 3. And then Hardcore subsequently, and then eventually Contra 4 on the DS, and then before that, Shattered Soldier on the PlayStation 2. The Contra series just took a turn, I don't want to say for the worst, but I definitely enjoy the first two the most. I still love the whole series, but I enjoy the first two the most because they're not insane memorizers. It definitely helps to have parts memorized, but it's not mandatory to get through a good chunk of the game without dying. Alright, so here's, I'll actually sort of, actually I don't think I can really demonstrate the pause trick here, because a lot of these things won't actually damage this guy. Alright, we're going to take a hit. Take another hit, unfortunately. Great, we're going to actually die here. I don't know if this will work. Yeah, Operation C. That's a pretty good one. Oh, so close. Hey, Zerdo, how are you doing? Hey, MT Shark. See, now I'm actually kind of in jail here now because I don't have... Normally what I do is I save the Gutsman attack for the last couple, and that's what I should have done. But instead I jumped in head first and just used them up. That is not true, Andy Author. The pause trick works for anything. But on this guy, many of your attacks get absorbed. So on this specific boss, yeah, my main shot won't work with the pause trick, but you can use the pause trick with other weapons. Not just those two. Yeah, we're already at the end of the game, so making pretty good progress. I actually don't need Gutsman's weapon. Yeah, so the first Mega Man is definitely the shortest of the bunch, which is kind of nice to start off with, you know, because all of them are going to get longer from here on out. And we're only about 40 minutes in so far, so that's not too bad. And I'm going to go ahead and equip this. Now I have to do some waiting. Not entirely true. This will actually give me all of my weapon power back. Alright, now we have a boss rush, and this is actually where using the pause trick might actually come in handy quite a bit. Now this part wouldn't be too bad if like these guys actually gave you health between fights. See, there's the pause trick with Iceman. Yes, I have tried the Genesis Mega Man games. Yep, they're all right. It's fun to play them as fans of the original games, but they're definitely not replacements for the original. Feel the mega cheese. Encrypted printer I have. Yeah, I played through the first one on stream a couple months ago on Twitch. I actually have them on my Pandora's Box 3, which is a sort of like a multi-game emulation board for arcade cabinets. To hear him like, you know, I'm not going to use the pause trick. Hey, Leonardo. Mega Man 3 Game Boy is pretty tough, but I think for all the wrong reasons. When I did my first two Mega Man Let's Plays for the Game Boy last year, and then I immediately tried practicing Part 3. I've never finished Part 3, or 4, or 5 on Game Boy, actually, now that I think about it. I gave up on Part 3 pretty quickly. I'm going to eventually try to go back, but that's, yeah, very difficult, and again, for all the wrong reasons. It's electric. Yeah, so the Wily Wars games on Genesis, they're cool because the updated graphics look nice. Some of the soundtracks are quite nice as well. Especially on Mega Man 1 and 2. I wasn't as impressed with the renditions of Mega Man 3 on the Genesis game. But the tunes in Mega Man 1 and 2 are really awesome on the Wily Wars. The big issue with that game is that they slowed down the projectiles big time. And so it feels like you're walking in water. Not really walking in water, but like shooting in water. There's a bunch of little things like that that really keeps that version from being as awesome as it probably could. So like, you know, if you look at like Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, fantastic. I mean, they got the tight controls down just like the NES games. They feel like them. They got their own unique look though, and it can stand on its own and be just as highly recommendable as the original trilogy. Mega Man Wily Wars, I can't say the same for that. There's a lot of slowdown and things like that. There's a lot of flicker. Well, I mean, there's flicker in the NES games, but you would expect these things to be ironed out on the 16-bit version of the game, but they weren't, unfortunately. So it's got a lot of downsides like that. But I do still recommend playing it. Hey, Tyler Adam. Yeah, the frame rate definitely takes a massive hit. Yeah. Wayne, I got the reference because you and I were old. Super Mario All-Stars is horrible. So is fun. No one likes fun. Why would you want to have fun? Wily Tower, it was alright. I really like the concept of being able to use any weapon you wanted from the first 3 games. That was really cool. But the tower itself just really wasn't designed all that well. I didn't think it was all that much fun to play through. It is a really neat concept, though, and I'm glad it exists. Like, I have no complaints that the Wily Towers are there, but I don't think it's as awesome as people like to make it out to be. So, but it is cool that it's there, and the concept of being able to, like, you know, again, use, you know, you get, like, I guess, like, 8 slots or something, and you can basically fill those 8 slots in with, you know, up to 8 weapons from all 3 of the first... Well, all the first 3 Mega Man games, which is really cool. Oops. So it sounds like we're all old here. That's sad. We are all old. Remember when these games were current, guys? I do. I do. Oh god, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight. Mega Man Soccer, I have not played. Well, I have played actually just a teensy tiny bit, but I don't really intend on ever doing like a video on that game. Alright, oh, so close. Almost got through it without taking damage. I've been getting better at that as I've gotten older. I would just get, not really wrecked at those guys, but I would definitely take several hits. I mean, you can take several hits in Mega Man 2 and not get as punished because, you know, enemies don't dish out as much damage as they did in the first game. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just tank here. This always just... You always have to stop with these gorillas. I'm just like, you know, I'll just take the damage. I don't really care. That was intentional. Oh no! All the way back there! For some reason I thought the checkpoint was right there. I'm a dummy. Oh, I'm a dummy. Well, like tanking, you know, all that damage just to get through it a little bit faster was a complete waste. I'll just take my time this time. Complete waste. Take care of yourself and you'll rock it for 100 years. I think that's the problem, Major Havoc, the whole taking care of myself part. I'm working on it, slowly, but, if Dark Souls gets ported to the Switch, I will most likely buy it for the Switch, because I've yet to play a Dark Souls game. And guys like Wayne and Ronnie keep trying to get me to play them. I actually have the first one, on 360. I just have yet to play it. But I did watch Wayne stream it last week, and it, actually Dark Souls 2 specifically, and it looks fun. Looks good. I like a good challenge. I like a good old school style challenge, and it definitely looks like it. You can do it! Would you consider using Turbo Fire or cheat in playing a game like this? Yeah. I mean, I'm the kind of person where I say play a game however you want to play it. But, you know, if you want to beat it, like, the right way, you really should do it without Turbo to get that, like, you know, that original experience. You know, like, mashing the button is, you know, it's part of the skill. You gotta balance that rhythm with the button press, with your movement and dodging. It's just micromanaging all these little technicalities. And if you can beat the game like that, it's the most satisfying in my opinion. I also don't get as much of like a thrill of just holding down a button and having my attacks come out automatically for me. I mean, in a game like this, where it wasn't designed to be like that, it just feels better to me. The original way. Get that nice tactile feedback on the NES controller buttons. And if I'm just holding on the button the whole time, I don't get that. You know, that's part of the experience. But I mean, yeah, if you're gonna use it as like a crutch because the game's too hard, then, you know, I get that. And if you just like to play like that, that's cool too. But you could always use it, like, I think it's cool to use things like that as like a tool to, like, build your skills up to the point to where you can handle a more difficult approach. It's like, I remember when I would play Beatmania 2DX by Konami. Very, very difficult game to get the hang of. Super steep learning curve. And in order to condition myself to, well, let me go back a step. In order to try to learn the game and get familiar with, like, the hand motions and stuff like that, I would go into practice mode and play the songs on the slowest settings. You could, like, decrease the song speed by 5, and then you could bring it up, like, a notch. You know, 5 notches until you were at the normal speed. And so basically I would play the songs super slow, and then I would raise them to the next speed level. And then I would try to learn them that way, and then I'd raise them to the next speed level. Until I eventually got back to the normal speed, and by then, you know, my hands were conditioned to allow me to play the songs normally. I mean, I still needed to practice the songs at the normal speeds, but having that crutch really helped me improve at the game. Whereas I might not have improved if I just kept trying to play the songs at the normal speed. It's something like, you know, Turbo Fire in a game that wasn't designed for it, might be that crutch for someone, you know what I mean? especially like in a shoot 'em up that doesn't normally have auto fire. Mashing buttons like memorizing phone numbers is an archaic skill, but satisfying. I like that encrypted printer. Bubble Man glitch. Do you mean the one where you like zip through the wall? Those are called zips that the speedrunners use. You can do it in a bunch of stages in this game. And all right, how do I want to do this? We'll go Flashman this time. Bosses do have a higher defense in Mega Man 2, but what's great, and it depends on the boss too, but what's great is that they have a shorter invulnerability time. And that's one of my favorite things about Mega Man 2 compared to the other ones in the series is you can sort of like rapidly attack the bosses. Their invincibility period after you hit them is very small. It's one of the reasons that Mega Man 2 feels the best to me out of the NES Mega Man games. And I don't know why they changed that for subsequent later Mega Man games on the NES. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. Michael, yeah, it's not just one, it's a common thing, and it's, there's rhythm and rhyme to it, actually. And like I said, they're called zips, and, you know, if you watch some of the speedrunners play this game, like Duckfist is a really good example, someone that's really, really awesome at Mega Man 2 speedrunning. I watch him stream on Twitch sometimes, and it's just, it's really awesome to see the tricks they use, and it makes me want to go back and try them out. You know, because I've seen the tricks before, and I thought, like, they were, I thought they weren't real. I saw a speedrun of Mega Man 2 back in, like, it must have been like 2002 or 2003, when I saw it, and I thought it was fake, and then I saw the real speedrunners doing it a few years ago, and I was like, oh, that's actually real, and you can actually do it and control it, and yeah, there's rhythm and rhyme to actually doing it. It's a legit thing you can do. You can do it on Bubble Man's level, you can do it on Quick Man's level, and there's multiple spots in Bubble Man's level you can do it. You can basically do it on any level that has a ceiling. You can do it on Heat Man's level. There's a couple parts on Crash Man's level where you can do it. Don't think you can do anything on Airman's level because there aren't really any ceilings in that stage. Metal Man, I think there's a zip or two. Quick Man, absolutely there is. Woodman, there's zips at a couple parts. Any part that has a ceiling, you can do it. So. Oh, wow. Oh, of course I would do Holy Diver without a turbo button. Absolutely, man. I mean, I've seen people play Holy Diver, and I know it's the kind of game I can totally get through. It'll take lots of practice, but you know, I've seen people go through a good portion of the game, and yeah, it's definitely my cup of tea. I'm looking forward to finally trying it out. Yeah, I don't use turbo on anything unless it's built into the game, and it's like it's a normal. Let me actually go back a step. I don't want to say not anything. I did use it for Darius Gaiden when I was really trying to actually learn how to 1cc that game. And that game's kind of an exception because there is an arcade. There is an option, or either a variation on the arcade game that has the option, or it was an option on the original arcade hardware through like a dip switch or something that allowed you to actually use rapid fire on, or turbo fire on Darius Gaiden in the arcade game. The Saturn version didn't have turbo fire. It had auto fire, but it didn't have like the super rapid turbo fire that people need to get through that game. And so pretty much everyone in the shmup community uses the turbo fire on Darius Gaiden. So I'll use it on that when I'm trying to really buckle down and try to one credit clear it. Insanely difficult game, by the way, if you're trying to do that. But aside from that example, I don't use turbo pretty much ever. Pretty much ever. I like to play games, you know, stock as they are, basically. Okay. I have to go all the way back down. Darn. That's alright. I wonder, let's see. Hey, hey, look at that. Flexibility, I love it. Alright, now unfortunately, actually I might... Ah, you can get it, okay. I've always done that with one of the items that allows you to go higher into the air. So that's good to know. So you guys now want to play Contra, because earlier people were like, Contra is so hard, oh god, it's so hard, and now I just want to play Contra and just run through it. Alright guys, we're no longer playing Mega Man after this. We're playing Contra. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Ronnie, how are you supposed to watch the new Twin Peaks if you don't have cable TV? Does Showtime have like a pay service you can sign up for online and just like stream it? Because I really want to watch that, but I don't have cable TV. Crash Man just hit a wall. Oh man. We'll go ahead and get this extra life. You think there's a service. Okay. I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, like I said, I really, 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 really want to see that. Yeah, I actually watched through all of Twin Peaks again, both seasons, a few months back, actually. Oh geez, so they have like a regular subscription, but then a premium edition? See, I might have to wait until it's like on DVD or Blu-ray or something. Do they even still make DVDs? I assume they do. I've been doing Blu-ray for a few years now, like almost exclusively. Please don't kill me. Alright, there we go, good. Welcome back, Tony. Welcome back. The owls are not what they seem. Alright, I'm just gonna get killed because I'm not gonna survive a whole fight. Nice, Ronnie. Nice, man. Everyone's like, yeah, they still make DVDs. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Not a very good fight, but I'll take it. Metal is not everyone's weakness in the game, no. Like, I don't think metal works against Quickman. I don't think it's very good against Airman. But yeah, I mean, it's good against a lot of bosses for sure. It's a good, like, well-rounded weapon. Like, it doesn't really do much with Heatman. But like Flashman, Woodman, Bubbleman especially, it works really well, so. No problem, bud. Quickman just petered out. He did, he just got like stuck on multiple walls. The pattern to Quickman, I don't even know if there's any rhythm or rhyme to it, honestly. He just seems to like bounce around the arena like a bumbling idiot half the time whenever I fight him. I mean, he's really fast though. That's what's hard about him, and his movement is very erratic. Oops. But it's a very satisfying fight to be able to, you know, complete with just like your standard weapon in particular. When I was a kid, I would never be able to beat him with just my standard shot. You know, it's one of those examples where I've gotten better as an adult, you know. The more I've played these games over the years, the better I've gotten. I never would have been able to do that as a kid. I always relied on Flashman's weapon to take away half his health. And then I would usually have to use an energy tank. Alright, we're going to try to do this without the special item. Whoops. Yeah. I always get lucky in that last block. Are you going to Iron Man it? I totally just Iron Manned it, man. It's always nice to get that on your first try, too. Hey, Tony, at least give me a little bit of credit, man. Tony's over there like, dude, that was luck. Ridley Scott should retire now. No comments. Well, if we can keep this up, we might actually be able to go through Mega Man 3. Yep, 3 is the longest, yeah. I totally agree. No, in 3, well, I don't know how I'm going to tackle 3. I'm trying to think if I want to just use the Robot Master weapons in that one. Because it does take longer to get through that game. Mega Man 3 is a lot of... it seemed really cool to me as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that there's a lot of unnecessary padding in Mega Man 3, unfortunately. And the Wily Castle in particular feels very rushed. So you go through all that padding with the Mega Man 2 bosses, and then you get to Wily's Castle, and it feels like they forgot to flesh it out. Hey, Georgia, how you doing? It's actually the first time I've ever done that with the little drill things on those flying heads. Never quite been able to get it, but now I understand what the speedrunners are doing. Granted, they do it with like baby hops. They get the jumps just right. But, you know, there's like a pixel or two you can stand on without taking damage. Do I like Mega Man 9? I liked it. I only ran through it once, though. Did I even beat that game? I don't even remember if I beat that game. Encrypted printer, I probably won't show off the second controller tricks simply just because I don't remember how to do them. I did them when I was a kid, but But yeah, I don't even remember how to do them. I know, like on Needleman stage, on the second time through, you can fall down into a pit, die, but then like press something on the second player controller to like zoom across the screen and then like fly back up out. It's super weird. Airman doesn't blow. He's dead. I love your little quips, Wayne. Keep them up, man. It's just left on the second player controller. Okay. Yeah, I probably won't mess around with them, but I do want to try them again in the future, for sure. Oh, that was cheap. Whoa! I took damage after I killed him. That was interesting. Hey, Smoke. Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. Yeah, I did a Let's Play of it last year. I actually like Mega Man 2 on Game Boy quite a bit. I don't know, I have a soft spot for it. Yeah, the thing about Mega Man 2, and one of my favorite things about it, is just, like I said, the invincibility time on the bosses between hits is lower than it is in other Mega Man games, any other Mega Man game on the NES. And so the bosses have a much faster paced nature to them, and I wish they kept that up with the other games. But as the series went on, and Mega Man 3 doesn't have this problem as much as the other ones do, but the boss fights just feel like they drag on longer. And I guess that's why they came up with the Mega Buster. Maybe it's a reason. I don't know. Or maybe they, you know, slowed the invincibility time on the bosses in later Mega Man games because of the Mega Buster, or the, whatever they call it, the charge shot. But I much prefer the fast-paced nature that Mega Man 2 has with its boss fights. It's just very, very fun to me. I'm streaming from the Retro USB AVS, which is a modern NES clone system, and a really, really awesome one at that. I do have an NES, regular NES hooked up in my game room, but I don't stream from it anymore because it's just composite and it doesn't really look all that great. So the AVS, I can get a really nice sharp picture. And very, very happy with the AVS. It's one of my favorite purchases over the last, you know, year or so. Not quite a year. I got it I guess I got it last September, so... Oh, I messed up. Hey, Christopher Margot. Deadly Gaming! Whatever happened to Bass at the end of the series? I have no idea. I never actually beat Mega Man 9, like the original Mega Man 9. Mega Man and Bass. I guess I should say Rockman 9, since it didn't come out in North America back in the day. Hey, Michael! How you doing, buddy? Darren S. has joined the chat. Crap! Oh, that was close. Yeah, I've never finished Rockman and Forte. It was just really, really difficult for me. But that is one of those ones I'm going to go back to, and I'll eventually try to learn it. Yep, it came out for Game Boy Advance in North America. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, what I meant was just back in the day, it came out on Super Nintendo in Japan in like... When did it come out in Japan, guys? It was like 1999. It was like a really late release Super Famicom game. Like crazy late release. But yeah, it did come out to Game Boy Advance in like... I think it was like 2003-ish it came out on Game Boy Advance. This is the difficult mode. Yep. Pretty much the only way to play it. See if we can do it without Metal Man. Oh my god. Those dudes really dish out the damage. Wow. Alright, so I'm gonna actually need to grind out a little bit here. Oops, I just used an E-tank by accident. It's a shame it actually lets you do that. Alright, I think that should be good enough. Nice, Deadly. You've been on a huge DOS Windows kick lately. Hell yeah. Alright, we're gonna play it safe this time. I don't feel like doing that section over again. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, it's really interesting you say that, Georgia, and it's what I love hearing from people. I love hearing things like that from people through this channel here. It's just like, I get so many different perspectives. Like when I grew up, I always grinded out in Mega Man. I always, you know, played it safe to get my power-ups back and things like that. But it's so interesting to hear that, like, people didn't do that. Like, even with these retro games, so many people still had vastly different experiences compared to other people. It's really interesting. I actually owned both Mega Man and Mega Man 3 on MS-DOS, so I actually played those games a lot when I was younger, so I actually would like to do Let's Plays on both those games eventually. In hindsight, they're really not all that great, but I enjoyed them as a kid. Huh, I pushed him off screen. Weird. Yeah, man, dude, totally get a Pentium 166. I've got one of those, and it's so good. I love playing, like, you know, DOS games on it. I generally don't have to do a whole lot of tweaking, because a lot of the games will just run in Windows 95. As is. It's hard to say, J Money, if they'll ever revisit Mega Man with like a real either remake or a new entry. I mean, Resident Evil's still making them big bucks, so... Oh yeah, classic Doom runs perfectly in Windows 95, Wayne. It's awesome playing it in Windows 95. No, I mean, Windows 95 has DOS compatibility out of the box. Like, now there are some DOS games that have weird, like, memory requirements and stuff like that, and Windows oftentimes doesn't know what to do with that. But no, like, I'd say probably a good 75% of DOS games out there will run just fine in Windows 95. So, alright, so in one of my Let's Plays recently, somebody gave me the idea of using Bubble Man. Look at that! So that's the only hole. I always thought there was like more than one hole. So that's really cool. It's like something you don't really see in like some of the other Mega Man games on the NES. There's just... This game was very clever in how it's... some of its special items could be utilized. Classic Doom was ported to Windows 95, but you can play just the MS-DOS version in Windows 95. You don't need the Windows 95 version of Doom. Doom 95, though, did give you the option to play it in 640 by 480, so you got to play it at double the resolution of the original game, which was nice. But your computer had to be powerful enough for that to be smooth. On a Pentium 166, I don't think it's... smooth enough to replace the original resolution in terms of the frame rate. So, hey Amadeus. But yeah, like I said, a lot of DOS games work just fine in Windows 95. Mega Man Anniversary Collection, nice. I actually thought about firing up the Xbox for this stream tonight and just using that. Then I was like, nah, we'll just play them on the AVS. They'll look nicer. Yeah. Oh, cool, Deadly. So you got your bases covered then, if you're gonna go real hardware for the old computer. Wow, I actually ran under him. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, man. Amadeus, you didn't have to, man. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Oh, crap. I think I just... Shoot. We actually might fail this. Oh, that's not good. It's potentially not good. We'll see. Fudge, man! Shit, we have to get a game over now. This is stupid. Alright. Just kill me. I knew I messed up by trying to be slick and... How many lives do I have? Oh my god, I got 3 lives. That's funny, it put me back in terms of checkpoints. Phil's computer lab. I'll have to check that out, man. No, there's no farming on this level. You're pretty much done. If you don't get it right, you're better off just getting the game over because there's so few enemies to farm. It's not worth the time, and I'm not going to waste my time for you guys farming those guys. Let me actually get back up here, get to the second checkpoint. I'll be able to kill myself faster this way. God, that was really dumb. I haven't done that in probably since I was a kid. Jeez, man. Puts in Spy Hunter after smashing the controller in Mega Man 2. That would just make me want to smash another controller, man. If I put on the NES version of Spy Hunter. Oh, I have too many lives. Hey, see ya, Major Havoc. Take care, man. X-Men on the NES. You know, there's people that actually know how to just tear right through that game. Like, not, like, literally, physically, but, you know, they can just roll through that game. They know exactly what to do. So I kind of want to revisit it, and I know I'm probably going to regret spending time on that, trying to learn how to beat it, but I'm going to try it sometime. Hey, see ya, Leonardo. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. I think I lost my energy tank, so I might as well just actually go back and get that. Silver Surfer is great, man. I love Silver Surfer. And like a couple people out there in Streamland that watch me regularly know that I like Silver Surfer. So when they hear people say things like, "Oh, put on Silver Surfer," they're like, "Ha ha ha! You just wait." I'll put on Silver Surfer and just like tear through that game. Holy crap! Be like, "Ha ha! Gotcha!" Didn't expect that, did you? Yeah, Silver Surfer is actually one of my favorite shooters on the NES. That's I played that one a lot as a kid. It's very difficult if you don't know what you're doing, but when you know what you're doing, you can just, you know, really tear through that game. I love the soundtrack in that game. The visuals are actually pretty nice too, by NES standards. Yeah, the soundtrack especially, man. So kicking. Haha. I'll let other people answer that, Miku. Oh my god, I did it again, man. I pressed up and latched onto the ladder. Hey, Fled One. Hey Tony, what doesn't keep going up? I don't think I can think of a single game that isn't going up in price right now. The whole collecting scene is just absolutely insane. You know, and every time someone mentions like prices and stuff like that, I always think back to 20 years ago when I was starting to collect for the first time. And wow, the stuff you can get back then for the prices that you could get. Dungeons and Dragons, Shadow over Mystara. Yeah. Remember when like Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt cartridges were like 7 pennies? Like, no joke. Or maybe I'm exaggerating. It was literally like, it went down to like a quarter. You know, you could drop $5 and walk out with 20 copies of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And some people actually did that. Because you could. You know? Like, it's just absolutely insane. Now that game's like $5 a cart. Wizard. Dracula X for Super Nintendo box for $7. Yep, sounds about right. Tony, we're talking like almost 20 years ago, man. We're talking when collecting was actually good. And even if you only made minimum wage, you could still rack up a really big collection of really awesome games. But now collecting is like this little, almost little pop culture thing in and of itself, and prices have just really shot through the roof. I mean, they've been going up slowly over the years, but in the last 5 to 6 years in particular, they've really started to spike. Yeah, I am Weasel. Yeah, me too. I mean, I got a bunch of NES games real cheap at Toys R Us for like $10 a pop. You know, the original Final Fantasy, I bought that brand new in box. $10. You know, I had the option, I think, to get Mega Man 6, but I didn't. I guess probably because, like, my friend had it. Yep, yard sales were really good too at the time. Absolutely. Yeah, Andy Arthur. I mean, that's what I tell people. I tell people that if they don't want to pay the high prices for games, buy some flashcards. It's totally worth the investment. If you're the kind of person that mainly just wants to play the games and, you know, not worry so much about how stuff looks on your shelf, then flashcards are the way to go. I personally still try to buy some like cheap games every now and then. I still like buying games, but especially with how I've owned many of these games like 3 or 4 times over now, I can't justify spending the high prices that a lot of them cost nowadays. So flashcards fit the bill for me. And plus, like, if you're, you know, content creator on like YouTube, or you do lots of streaming on Twitch, man, flashcards. And you still like to use original hardware, I should note that. Flashcards are amazing tools for that. Of course, if you just want to stream, you could always just do emulation, but I always prefer the feel of original hardware myself. So, I mean, if I can do it, I might as well do it that way. So. Yep, I've got Mega Man Anniversary on the original Xbox as well, Lightstreak. It's a really great way to play the game. I don't know about the GameCube one, because they reversed the buttons and you have no control over remapping them, but well, the PS2 and Xbox ones in particular are, yeah, I highly recommend those. I mean, if you want to play the original Mega Man games on a console, especially if you got an old CRT, they pretty much look just like the NES ones. They did a really good job on that collection. Yeah, Amadeus, my question is when is the market going to settle? That's the thing. I wonder what it's going to take to get it to settle. Thank you, Nothing Dot. Ninja Gaiden 3 is very hard, though. Yeah, it's a tough game. Absolutely. Christopher, did you buy the Sega CD and 32X? I wonder how much were they? That's awesome that you saw one out in the wild like that. That's the true wild. You know, it's not going to some video game store. Finding stuff like that at a yard sale is amazing. That stuff used to happen all the time back in the day. But I don't even bother going to yard sales anymore, man. I got burned on so many yard sales. I was just like, all right, I give up. I'm just wasting my time at this point. Like, but man, when you find something really good, it makes it feel like it's worth all the trouble. PvP, I highly doubt you find rare US releases for $5 in your country. The collection markets are different from, well, obviously market to market. But in the United States, or North America in particular, it's pretty crappy for the most part. So, alright guys, I'm gonna take a quick, like, 1-minute break to use the restroom, and then once this ending's over, we're gonna swap over to Mega Man 3. I think I can get through Mega Man 3 in the next hour and a half. Oh, you paid $40 for the Sega CD and 32X. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Fantastic price on some pretty fun add-ons. The Sega CD in particular is awesome. Thank you, Georgia. Actually, let me go ahead and switch to Mega Man 3 right now. All right. Wily wasn't an alien. Someone call Alex Jones. Yeah, the Mega Man 3 intro is still my favorite intro of the whole series, too. I absolutely love it. It's so good. Mega Man Extravaganza Night. Yeah, we'll see, Michael. Brandon Michael Mackerts. Hey, Jules, how are you doing? You bought Wolfenstein: The New Order. Awesome, man. Did you start playing it yet? One of my coworkers actually bought me. He gifted me Wolfenstein: The Old Blood on Steam today. I think he felt kind of bad because of my computer issues. And so he gifted it to me today. That was pretty awesome of him to do that. Most of the bosses in this game are easy, Gonzalez. Shadow Man and Needle Man are really the only ones I have trouble with. Well, I guess Gemini Man, but Gemini Man is just like, you have no room to move on Gemini Man's boss fight. That's why he's hard. Man, everybody else is pretty easy for me. I like Snake Man because the music, it always gets me pumped, you know. Man, look at that slowdown in Mega Man 3. That's one of the things I never noticed as a kid. But man, after coming from Mega Man 2, you're just like, ooh, that slowdown's a little rough. Just a little bit. It's a little personal history lesson, guys. Is Mega Man 3 was actually the first Mega Man game I ever owned as a kid. I got it for Christmas. Probably the year it came out. I think the year it came out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 90. I'm pretty sure it was the year it came out. And so as a kid, this was actually my most played Mega Man game. And that's one reason why, like, as I got older, I always told people this was my favorite Mega Man. As I've gotten older, in recent years in particular, it's fallen from that pedestal. But it is the one I played the most as a kid. Oops. Slinkies! So the NES was before your time, 323. It's all good. Doesn't mean you still can't appreciate, you know, systems earlier than when you were born. What else close? Nice. It's always glad to see, great to see people that enjoy the NES that didn't really grow up with it. I try to tell people on the internet, like, you know, the NES is like one of the earliest consoles I feel that almost like any generation could appreciate if they spend time with it. Not just appreciate, but like really get, you know, sucked into. Like, I personally like love the Atari 2600 and, like, you know, that earlier generation, but I feel like it's harder for newcomers to get invested in those games and care about them the same way that they care about later generation games. I feel like the NES, in terms of game consoles, is, and to a lesser degree, the Master System, you know, kind of like that first era of console, where they kind of like, I think a lot of the games, or some of the games, sort of like transcend time, I guess, you know? It's like, to some people, they can be just as fresh now as they were back then. You know, it's just really great gameplay, memorable soundtracks, things like that. Recognizable art. you know, this was in that era when, like, you know, backgrounds and just game artwork started to actually look like things. Not just blocks on the screen. You didn't have to use your imagination, you know? So I think it's easier for, like, newer generations to get into, you know, the late 8-bit generation and on than it was the early 8-bit generation. Alright, we'll do Top Man. Hey, see ya, Amadeus. Take care, man. Thank you again for the super chat, dude. Hey Brandon, how far are you into Return to Castle Wolfenstein? Slow down the cat. It's so odd to me that Mega Man 3 has as much slowdown as it does, because it doesn't have as much going on in, like, the backgrounds. Like, this background is just blank. You know, a lot of Mega Man 2 stages, like Metal Man, for instance, will have animated backgrounds, you know? But I guess you could probably say, like, I don't know, maybe part of it is just that I think there are more... Well, no, not necessarily. I was going to say there's more, like, actual, like, obstacles on the main playfield, like enemies and things like that. But now that I think about it, it's not really the case. You're 4 hours in, okay. Yeah, I tried playing Wolfenstein the new, Return to Castle Wolfenstein on my old PC recently, and it just refused to load, unfortunately. I did swap out graphics cards now, so I went from a Radeon card to a GeForce NVIDIA. So maybe that's the issue. So I'm going to try it again with the new video card in there, so we'll see if it works. But yeah, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, I never actually ran through back in the day. It's one I kind of wish I played when it was new, but I didn't, so... we'll try a little bit of a challenge. We'll try to do Shadow Man without Top Man's weapon. But Top Man is the weakness for Shadow Man. Jules, I'm not sure if they really have more animation in this. I mean, some characters do, but others are, yeah, pretty comparable to Mega Man 2. In terms of, like, the amount of frames of animation. But, like, this level, I could see a little bit more, like, why it would slow down. Like, there's actually stuff happening in the background. The background is actually filled with more than just blue sky. And you know what's funny? It actually feels like there's less slowdown here, even though there's more happening. It's like the NES is like, ugh. You gotta throw more at me, otherwise I get bored and I start slowing down. Shadow Man was one of those levels that's really awesome with like the graphical tricks and stuff. You get the lava in the background and on the floor. Then you've got the star field when the whole screen goes dark. Really cool stuff. You always want to just bait these guys. If you don't, they'll come down and hit you and you'll fall into the pit and die. Ah, I feel like there's no rhythm or rhyme to how he does his patterns. 2 lives, no E-tanks. Oh, so close! So close. Oh, very nice. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You know, that's what's awesome about these streams. You guys inform each other about deals and things like that. And that's a fantastic deal, by the way. In Wolfenstein, in Spear of Destiny, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein for like $3. Hell yeah. I'm gonna cheese it. Hey, Drixel. Trying to do an all Mega Buster run? Not necessarily, but you know, I play these games so much that just doing like Mega Buster stuff just makes it more interesting for me, you know? Like, someone in the chat earlier was like, why aren't you using Metal Man in Mega Man 2? And I didn't answer, but to myself I was thinking, like, it's just a lot more interesting for me than just spamming Metal Man for the whole game. Anybody can spam Metal Man for the whole game, but not everybody can go through the whole game with just the Mega Buster, you know? I'm the kind of person where, like, when I do things a certain way, or I should say when I do things an easier way so often, it starts to become boring for me. And so I've got this way of making games intentionally more challenging by either limiting like my power-up intake, or like in a case like Mega Man, using just my stock weapons instead of the special weapons, especially at like harder boss fights. So like Needle Man, when I get to Needle Man, I want to fight him with just my my standard Mega Buster and not Gemini Man, which is his weakness. Now, if I have a problem with the boss fight, then I might switch to like the special weapon at the last minute, because checkpoints are kind of annoying to me. I just want to get through the game quickly. But for the most part, I like to try to go through a lot of these games with the more difficult way, just because it makes it more interesting for me. Like on Twitch last weekend, I actually ran through the whole first Castlevania without any sub-weapons. And that was really interesting. It forces you to think about a lot of the enemy patterns and boss fights in a different way as well. So Alright, this is my last life. Garbage! We'll do it again. Hey, thanks, Drexel. Yeah, I mean, I hope it makes it more entertaining for you guys, too, but ultimately, it's just about making it more entertaining for myself. I don't generally think of my gameplay as, like, you know, just like, oh, I have to play a game this way, otherwise the crowd's not going to enjoy it. Like, for me, it's just about me enjoying the game, really. But if it makes it more entertaining for you guys, then win-win, right? And 323, yeah, Castlevania is tough. It's a tough game. But, you know, like I mentioned in my Let's Play, it's the kind of game where when you really know what to do, you can just, you can wreck it, you know? You can just kill that game. What webcam do I use for the Patchouli cam? It's actually kind of a crappy cam, Wayne. It's a Logitech, I think C615. What I would do, Wayne, is if you're thinking about getting a webcam, get a Logitech C920. It's a really good 1080p webcam. Pretty sharp picture overall. Or if you want to go one step higher, get the 920-C. That's the business cam. And it's actually got a crisper picture than the just base C920. Yeah, and the thing about the C920 as well is it's got built-in encoding, so that helps offload the well, the load from your computer. Whereas the C615 does not have that, so it eats up more resources for a better picture. But the picture in general isn't as good. And it isn't nearly as good, actually, as the C920, anyway. Password screen tunes makes for good elevator music. Indeed, Michael. Yeah, Jelly. Basically, Sphere of Destiny was almost like an expansion pack for Wolfenstein 3D. That's really how you can look at it. I mean, it was a standalone game, but it was just more the same with a couple of tweaks. You know, you had different bosses, you had some different enemy types at the very end of the game. You had, you know, you had the bullet boxes that you could pick up now to give you more ammunition faster. So. Tony, you might want to check your settings on your PVR. It depends on like what file container you save your files to. Certain containers have to be split up into like 4 gigabyte files. But there might be a different container you can use that'll allow it to just be one large file. Oh no! Yeah, Brandon, I don't really remember any of the music to Mega Man 8. All I remembered was that it was forgettable. I do want to go back and try to finish Mega Man 8 again. I haven't beaten that game since the 90s. Actually, I never did beat the game. I think I got to around where like the Yellow Devil was, and that was it. I never finished it, actually, now that I think about it. So that's on my to-do list. And Mega Man 7, I haven't beaten that game in like 12 years. Wasn't the biggest fan of that or Mega Man 8. I like Mega Man 8 more than 7, but neither really, like, floated my boat too much. You guys trying to find Michael's channel? I can post a link if you want. So for any those of you guys that don't know, Michael Mackert, he's actually my brother Brandon, who is so when you hear me refer to him as Brandon, it's because he's my brother. Hey, Society of Sin, how you doing tonight? Finally, Rush! Rush Coil. Forgot he was even in this game. Because we ran through Mega Man 1 and 2 back to back. And now obviously both those games don't have Rush. So I completely forgot that we had Rush. One mad looking penguin. Robotic penguin. Hey, no problem, Society. I figured you guys would enjoy some Mega Man tonight. And I haven't played through some of these in a little while, so... yeah, I'll show you guys Rush Marine since we can. So you can use Rush Marine underwater. I don't usually use this power-up anymore, I just go through the stage normally. Again, one of those things where it's just more fun for me. Like, Rush Marine definitely makes the part easier. You can jump up here. Alright. I love Mega Man all the time. That's awesome, Georgia. Yeah, I think it's going to be a while before I revisit these Let's Plays, so it's actually kind of fitting I'm doing this right now. Yeah, so this is one of those boss fights where you can kind of control the flow by attacking. So every time you attack, he attacks. It looks like on the second half, when you fire, he jumps. Not my favorite boss fight, to be honest with you. I think it's a little... I mean, especially his projectile is super fast in the first half. And you can only attack, like, only one of them. Like, basically one's like a mirror and doesn't do any damage. Oh, I'm not new to the game. No, I know nothing. I'm just intentionally making things harder. It's what I do. It's what I do. It makes things more fun. You know, when you're playing a game you've beaten like 200 times, trying to mix things up makes things more interesting. Yeah, I want to play Super Mario Crossover. I hear it's a lot of fun. I still haven't tried it out. I know it's kind of old now. Oh yeah, Snake Man just completely demolished his Gemini Man. Alright, we're gonna break the game. There's gonna be a lot of slowdown. So much slowdown! Ryan, congratulations! Yeah, it is a fantastic game. Totally. The Robot Master spokesperson for Cialis. Yeah, one of the things about Mega Man 3 is they have a tendency of just throwing some power-ups at you, like, oh, here's an energy tank for doing absolutely nothing. So Mega Man 3 is actually, in a way, it's one of the easiest Mega Mans because you have so many just recovery options, even if, like, you're not very good at the game. You can just tank. I mean, it's one of the things about Mega Man. And one of the great things about Mega Man is you can just tank, you know, there's not as much risk when you take damage as there is in other games. Like other games where, say, you would die in 2 or 3 hits. Mega Man, you can usually take way more hits than that, and then you've got energy tanks to replenish your health some more, then you can also grind out on enemies to get your health back, so it's... You know, even though a lot of the boss patterns and some of the enemy patterns are really challenging, like, because you can tank, it almost doesn't really matter that much. But one of the most satisfying things to me with these Mega Man games, and I don't remember this dude's pattern at all, is, you know, doing, say, the boss fights, like, without taking damage. And you can go, like, the next step up and just do it without using the special weapons at all. Yeah, Wily Castle just throws... Oh, that was my last life, too. I'm a... Oh, retard. Oh, my God. We gotta do it again. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, that doesn't work at all. Wow. Top Man, the most useless weapon in the game. Speaking of which, a lot of these weapons are kind of useless right now. Oops. No, it's eating my inputs. There's so much slowdown. I'm trying to turn left, and it's not letting me turn left. That's a problem with slowdown in video games. Sometimes they eat your inputs. And that's never a good kind of slowdown. Yeah, I was on a roll with the first two games. I mean, I think I'm doing alright in this one. Some of the bosses and situations are a little bit trickier for me in this without special weapons, like Shadow Man, Gemini Man, to me are harder than like any boss in either the two previous Mega Mans. Even like Elect Man, like I have a better chance of actually avoiding Elect Man's attacks. The reason Elect Man is tough is because, you know, he'll kill you in like 3 hits, but your shot only does 1 hit points worth of damage on Elect Man. So it's a grind, you know. I don't like Shadow Blade that much, honestly. I mean, it's short range. You can't shoot it like you can't shoot it down. You know, it's a little slow. When it gets absorbed by an enemy, you know, you can only throw like 1 projectile out at a time. You have to wait for it to get absorbed, and then there's a few frames where you can't use it again. It's a little wonky. Ah, we gotta fight him again. Great. Whoops. My mashing skills are faltering. I mean, Shadow Blade, though, is really cool. It's just not nearly as useful as Metal Blade. Alright, wasn't it Spark? No, it was Magnet Man that works for him. I don't even remember how to do his pattern or follow his pattern, so I'm just gonna do the cheap way out. Wow, that took away half my health. Go me. Thank you, Miku. Dark Souls eat your inputs too. So basically Dark Souls, I think, probably recognizes that you're mashing, and it won't let you just mash the attacks over and over. It sounds like the kind of game where it forces you to try to actually time your attacks, which I think is cool. If people could mash through Dark Souls, like, it wouldn't have the reputation it has, you know? You know, it's like Castlevania. You can't mash your way through Castlevania. You've got to be able to attack on point. You know, a lot of people have compared Dark Souls to like Castlevania in terms of the difficulty. It's the kind of game where you get rewarded for precision, accuracy, skill, you know? It's not a Dynasty Warriors. You can't just go in and just keep mashing the button over and over and expect success. It's not that those games are bad, but Dark Souls just isn't one of those types of games. That's why a lot of people talk about Dark Souls as this sort of, you know, it's old school in nature. And old school oftentimes required you to be precise, you know? It required a certain degree of skill. A lot of these old games weren't gimmies like a lot of modern games are. It's not to say modern games can't be difficult. On the contrary, you know, you crank some modern games up to the hardest difficulties and they're very challenging, but you know, your first playthrough on the normal difficulty level nowadays is usually a walk in the park for many games. And back in the day, that was rare. Not Rare the company, but it was uncommon. Yeah, I remember seeing that, Wayne. You had to manage your stamina in Dark Souls. Whoops. Whoops. Jeez, man. We got a really good turnout tonight. I think this is actually the best stream turnout ever for me on YouTube here. So I want to thank anybody that's tuned in tonight, and if you're still here, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. We were up to like 50 people earlier. I've never had 50 people watching me on YouTube. We've gotten, you know, into the mid-30s before, but not into the 40s and 50s, so that's really awesome. Whoa! There we go. Got it. Jules is trapped in the 6th generation. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Miko. Needle Man sure is a prick. Oh man, you guys. Alright, so we're pretty much, I guess you could say we're about a little over a third of the way through the game. Actually, I would say we're about halfway. Nintendo Switch, nice. I actually went out to try to buy a Nintendo Switch a couple weeks ago, and failed miserably at that. So I didn't buy a Switch. It's actually kind of good I didn't buy a Switch, because I ended up having to put that money towards like computer stuff and then some pinball stuff as well, so... But I would like to get a Switch. Oh, nice, Christopher T. What's good to know? Yeah, I figure we get a lot of lurkers on the stream. That's cool. But it's always great seeing a really good turnout. What time is it? 11:34. Yeah, so I predict we'll probably be done with this game in about an hour, and I'll probably end up stopping the stream at that point. What I'm thinking about doing is just doing another Mega Man stream in the future, and then doing 4, 5, and 6. I thought about making this an all-night stream, but I have some stuff I still need to do, and so it is not going to be an all-night stream. So for these guys, I always forget which, like, I always forget, like, what their weaknesses are. So, thankfully I figured that one out right away. The Mega Man 2 bosses are a major pain in this game, so like the character sprites are much larger than they were in Mega Man 2. They dish out damage like Elecman does in Mega Man 1. It's really ridiculous, man. Not my favorite part of Mega Man 3, honestly. I used to... When I would tell people, like, oh, Mega Man 3 is the best one, I would use, like, the Mega Man 2 boss fights as a reason for that, but, you know, looking at it now, I'm just like, they're actually not that much fun, now that I think about it. Because you have very little room to actually move. So in Mega Man 2, when you're fighting the bosses, you can, you know, you can jump over them, you can dodge them, things like that. So the boss fights are interesting. In this one, you can't do anything to these guys, man. They get close to you, you're getting hit. And not only are you going to get hit, they're going to take away like half of your health. It's pretty ridiculous, actually. A former lurker, nice. Oh, thankfully, we got that on our first try. Yeah, Georgia, I'm just not as big of a fan of it as I used to be. Like I said, all those complaints I just sort of like named out. That's really why. Like, it's neat, it's a novelty, but I think it's a novelty they could have done without, and, in hindsight, I would have personally preferred a more fleshed out Wily Castle, because you go through this, and it's cool, initially, but then you get to Wily's Castle and you just breeze right through it, and it's just like, it just ends abruptly, you know? Hey, PS3s are cheap, Andy Arthur. It's a good buy. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing, Wayne, like what the Splatoon single player is like. Like, look at that! I swear, there's like it's almost impossible to jump over his leaf pattern. His leaf wheel, whereas in Mega Man 2, you can jump over it like 100% of the time if you're good, but in this, man, alright, I'm gonna stop whining. I know how people don't like me complaining about Mega Man games, so if my Let's Play comment sections are anything to go by, my Mega Man Let's Play comment section specifically. Yeah, one of my things about the Mega Man 2 fights... Oh god, I just told myself to stop complaining. Okay, I gotta get this off my chest, though. One of my things about the Mega Man 2 boss fights in this is that... to me, it seems like it's pretty much impossible to actually fight these guys without using special weapons. And that, to me, is kind of annoying. Like, the beauty of the regular boss fights is you can pretty much try to go after almost any boss fight with just your standard Mega Buster. But these Mega Man 2... rematches, not quite, unfortunately. Let's see if Heatman operates the same way as he does in Mega Man 2. He's a lot faster in this one. Yeah, see, I can't even... It's the kind of crap I'm talking about. Child of Eden is cool. I have that on 360. That's basically like a spiritual successor to Res. At least it's better than Mega Man 5. I was actually tempted to play Mega Man 5 first today, Wayne. I really don't know what the weakness is here, so I'm just gonna experiment. I mean, I have complaints, like Christopher. Like, I feel like they're logical complaints, though. They're not just like, you know, I'm not just pulling stuff out of my rear end. So, like, I'm not the kind of person that just likes to, like, bash stuff just because he can. Like, I try to, like, look at things logically. And if someone, like, wants to know why I feel the way I feel about something, I can actually put it in the words and describe why something like, say, Mega Man 3 isn't my favorite anymore. I try to like, you know, and not everybody's the same, you know, everybody's different. I try to set aside my own personal nostalgia these days in particular. You know, try to play these games from a current perspective. I'm not trying to live in the past. I play these games because they're still fun, you know, and I'm still learning new things about them. Especially as I improve as a player over the years, as that happens, tastes are going to change. You're going to start figuring out things or realizing things that you didn't really notice when you were younger. Not necessarily just younger, but like I would say less experienced, you know? Especially the better you get at these games, the more certain points start to stick out like a sore thumb. So like for me, Mega Man 3 right now, the slowdown's a big one. Ooh, extra life. The Mega Man 2 boss fights is another, you know, and basically how you are forced to just use your special abilities against them. Things like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna say any more about the topic, I guess, because then I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I probably already do. Well, Jules, I would have said it differently, but I try to be relatively family-friendly here on YouTube. By the way, if you guys prefer to be family-friendly, don't go to my Twitch account. I'm warning you now. Damn it, man. I should have been able to do that. I should have been able to do that. Oh, that's right. Oh, God, the checkpoints. I forgot. On the Mega Man 2 parts, you get no checkpoints, basically. You gotta go all the way back to the beginning. And then once I beat the first boss, that's technically the checkpoint, but it's almost not even a checkpoint. It's about as bad as getting shot back to the beginning of the stage. Yeah, I totally agree, Georgia. I mean, that's how I look at old games. I mean, nostalgia sort of like reels you in, right? It gets you back into it. You have those warm and fuzzy feelings about those old games. But then you start playing them and you realize that, oh wait, these are actually still really fun. Like, why did they have to be relegated to the past? So, I've got systems from all eras, you know, from the Atari 2600 era all the way up to, you know, Xbox One. And I play lots of things in between, you know? I play everything in between. And I don't usually play very specific platforms just because of nostalgia. I play it because they've got games I want to play. They're fun. Kind of like I was saying earlier today, I think it's harder to appreciate the earliest eras, pre-NES. You have to really understand how why the games are the way they were, and you have to be interested in that type of gameplay. You know, the more traditional arcade style of gameplay. Games don't end, they just loop infinitely. They get harder and harder and harder. And they're usually insanely hard. They're not just semi-hard. But aside from that, I think pretty much all generations of games after that have lots of titles that are timeless. That even younger generations can get into and appreciate without having to sort of understand what that era was like. You know, when those games were actually brand new on the market. Someone could pick up a Mega Man game for the first time now and sort of just get it and enjoy it and not have to... I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of rambling. Trying to come up with something that sounds coherent, but I think I'm failing at that. So I'll stop there. Brandon, you haven't played Wily Wars? Hey, next time you come over, man, we're gonna have to fire that up. Maybe we'll do a Wily Wars stream. I thought you've played that before. Hardman only sort of works against him. How about Snake? Nope. Spark works underwater. Okay. Actually, I guess that does make sense, now that I think about it. Electricity travels through water. That does make sense, but it would be really cool, and this would be some really cool attention to detail, if you use Sparkman's weapon underwater, it zapped, like, the entire screen. Little, like, bits of attention to detail like that, I think, are really cool in games. Like, if you take the lightning gun in Quake and use it underwater, you kill yourself. It's like, that makes sense, actually, now that I think about it. I think there's some other Mega Man games that actually do that. Maybe it was the Mega Man X games? I don't remember. Encrypted Printer knew what I was up to. Quake rules don't apply here. We were playing Quake last week, actually, on stream. Anybody that missed that, the archive is there. And up. Jules. Wood every morning. Alright, we got 3 lives. I'm gonna skip that extra life. But I will actually get that Actually, I have 4 energy. I don't need that energy tank. Never mind. This is what I'm talking about. Mega Man 3, man, you're just fed energy tanks. I feel like, I don't know. I was gonna say, in a way, Mega Man 3 might actually be the best Mega Man on the NES for beginners. I actually don't think that's true. I mean, just because they give you a lot of energy tanks doesn't mean the game's gonna be easy for everybody. That barely did anything. Alright, this is going to be interesting. You know what I'm going to do? Whee! Since that's the checkpoint, you know, I don't want to risk wasting my rush jet power. Because this is one of the worst parts in the game. This is has the same consequences as failing on that one Wily Tower boss in Mega Man 2, which we actually failed on today, which was kind of funny. If you use all your rush jet power, and then you die, you go back to the checkpoint, and you have no way to replenish your power, basically. And so you basically you might as well get a game over, and then just do the whole level over again. So both Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 have parts like that, unfortunately. Do any of the other Mega Mans on NES have that? I don't think they... Actually, I guess they do, because... oops, I didn't mean to do that. I have to do it with Rush Jet. I think Mega Man 4, you have to beat the final boss with a very specific weapon, just like in Mega Man 2. I think. Was it Pharaoh Man? Was Pharaoh Man the only one you could use to hurt Wily's final form in Mega Man 4? I forgot. You wouldn't know how good Mega Man 2 is if it wasn't for me. Well, right on, Miku. I really like in Mega Man 3 though that they use basically like full screen background effects to allow you to fight like really large enemies. That was a really cool addition. That's something that carried over in the rest of the Mega Man games for the NES. Mega Man 4 had some really cool background enemies. I say background because what they do here is they actually use the background layer to craft these huge looking characters. So it's not actually just like, you know, a foreground sprite basically. That's how old systems got around, like the NES and the Master System in particular. That's how they got around I guess limitations. And it's how they were able to get like massive bosses. Alright, Crash Man. Can't believe you made me sign in. Is that a good or a bad thing? Extra letters in Mega Man 6. I think you're thinking that's Mega Man 5, right? I don't think you collect letters in Mega Man 6, do you? There are like alternate exits in Mega Man 6 and like different paths. Oh yeah, no, I guess you can collect extra. You can spell beat. There's 4 beat letters, but in Mega Man 5, you actually have to spell Mega Man 5. I guess technically you do it in both of them. Hey, Sinful. Hey, Sinful, man. I'm tired, dude. I had another one of those days where I really didn't sleep worth a damn, unfortunately. So it's been a really stressful week with major computer problems and lack of sleep, and a work week where I actually had to work. So all that combined, I am surprised I'm actually doing as well as I am right now. Both in terms of my speech and in terms of my gameplay. Yeah, so Wily's Castle here, we're just gonna tear right through. It's not very difficult, it's not very long. And then that'll pretty much be it. And we don't need that extra life. We have plenty. And we don't need that E-tank, we have plenty. What happened on my computer? Well, basically what happened is about a month and a half ago, I ordered all brand new parts to build a brand new computer from the ground up. It was like a $1,700-ish build, and long story short, my system keeps resetting. Windows only gives a kernel power 41 error, which is generally related to hardware, according to what a lot of people say. But it is a very common error message as well, and can relate to software, and it's just been very confusing. We tried all the software troubleshooting methods, drivers, things like that, and none of that worked. And so then we went to troubleshooting hardware, and what happened is we ended up replacing the motherboard, we replaced the graphics card, we replaced, or swapped out some RAM. We took out other cards in my computer that we thought might have been conflicting with other devices, maybe causing the issue. So we took out the sound card, we took out the capture card, and what else did we do? I'm just so brain dead right now. I know we did a whole lot more. We did different operating systems. I installed Windows 8 on it. I tried installing Windows 7 again, but Windows 7 unfortunately doesn't like USB 2.0 keyboards, and my motherboard doesn't have a PS2 port on it, so I couldn't install Windows 7. Tried different hard drives, thinking maybe it was a hard drive issue. It's not a hard drive issue, unfortunately. So now we're pretty much down to the CPU is the last thing we can swap out. Oh, we also thought maybe it was a thermal issue, so I got a different kind of cooler. I mean, we've pretty much done everything aside from swapping just like the cables out, and don't think it's the cables of any kind, because we did swap the power supply out too. That's right. How did I forget about that? Oh my god, we swapped pretty much everything out. Yeah, Georgia, it has been a nightmare, man. Man or woman, I don't know. Sorry. I'm getting so tired right now. I'm just like spitting stuff out, not even thinking about what I say first. But yeah, it's been absolutely awful. And look at that, 2 energy tanks right back to back. They're like, yeah, you know, we think you're gonna need those E-tanks. Well, I guess especially before this fight. A lot of people have trouble with this fight. Skipping E-tanks is hard mode. Yeah, basically. That's actually a good way to look at it. Or if you get the E-tanks, just don't use them, you know. But yeah, so every single day after work this past week and last week as well, I've been spending my time troubleshooting the computer issue, you know. So like 4 or 5 hours a day, and Yeah, it sucks. So all of this was supposed to be for my editing and stream rig. So basically, building that new computer was going to increase my video quality and my stream quality big time. It was going to make my workflow a lot smoother. And then it was also going to give me the benefit to play some modern games again, like Doom 2016 and stuff like that. The way it was meant to be played on the PC. At a gazillion frames a second and whatnot on ultra settings. Which does look glorious when it actually works. So basically what I'm going to do, the last step is to either get a different motherboard and then replace the CPU. And so I'm going to reach out to AMD over the next couple of days to get the CPU R-made returned, basically, and get it swapped out for another one. We think it might be the CPU because we are occasionally getting CPU error codes on the motherboard. And I can't seem to get Windows to load without lowering the CPU voltages on the motherboard itself, which I don't think is supposed to happen. So Ronnie, yes, I did swap the GPU. Yeah, we thought, you know, we tried everything else, and so 2 days ago, I went to Micro Center and I bought a brand new graphics card. And I figured if it wasn't the graphics card, then whatever, I'd have a new graphics card to put in my old computer, which is still working. You know, the computer I've been using since 2009. And that's what ended up happening. I put my GeForce GTX 1060 in the old rig. And, yeah, Ronnie, I can't bury the Ryzen, man, because it was a $400 processor, dude. I can't just, like, toss that away. That's a lot of money. And then, you know, a $250 motherboard. You know, we're talking $650 just for the motherboard and processor. So I definitely need to try to make it work. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, it's the top one. Man. Bam. Dude, that Chris Cornell news was sad, man. I liked Audio Slave. I didn't really listen to Soundgarden back in the day, but I did like Audio Slave, so that was actually pretty sad to me. Because he was still relatively young, you know, 52. He's not that old when you think about it. It sucks. Well, this stream's gotten depressing. Thanks, Ronnie. Jeez, man. Yeah, it's been awful sinful, but I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the kind gesture. Yes, we're actually almost at the end of the game, and after the end of the game, I'm pretty much just I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. And I promise you guys what we'll do is, and we might even do this next week. It depends on how lazy I am or what else I can think of. We'll do Mega Man's 4, 5, and 6 in one swoop as well. No, that's absolutely true, Ronnie. But I mean, like, you know, I wanted to hear more Audio Slave albums. I wanted there to be more, you know? And now there won't be. Or if there are, it won't be the same. It's funny, magnet against magnet. That doesn't really work. When do they just get stuck together? I'm a little confused. Let's say happy things! Alright. Beer! That's a happy thing, right? Oops. MEGAMAN! That's a happy thing. Unless you're talking about Mega Man X7, and then it's, yeah, let's just not go there. Oh great, I actually have to do this fight. I used up Magnet Man's weapon, or energy, on Magnet Man himself. I used to have his pattern down pat back in the day. I don't even remember what it is now. I'm trying to figure it out, but... You just jump right in front of him? No? Patchouli hasn't been a happy subject these last couple of days, Ronnie. Patchouli has been... Wow! That was a... It feels like he hit me twice with that, because like, I saw the health go down to 1 pellet, and then I just died. Now, Patchouli's been very naggy these last couple of days. I think it's just because I haven't been giving her a lot of attention. Patchouli is my cat, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know. You can see her on a couple of my videos, like the room tour and my AVS addendum video. Actually, she's in my Mega Man 2 Let's Play as well. Funny enough, we're playing Mega Man and Patchouli was in it. That was like right when I got her. No, she's been nagging like crazy. And this week has just not been good for, like, kitty nagging. I haven't gotten much sleep, and I've been dealing with this computer issue. Which has been really driving me up the freaking wall, I swear. It's been making me very, very salty this week. This week in particular. You know, because, like, I've been troubleshooting for weeks now. And so the more I troubleshoot, and the more that troubleshooting fails to solve my issue, the more frustrating it gets, basically. Patchouli will just come out into the main room, stare at me, and start howling, and not in just like a, not just like meow, meow, not like that. She's like meow, like give me attention. I'm like. No! No, cat! So in a way I feel kind of bad, but in another way I'm just like, cat, I can't put up with this right now. This is a really bad time, Patchouli. Really bad time. Biting the hell out of you sounds funny though, Wayne. That's hilarious, man. You know, it's funny, we used Magnet Man against Magnet Man, but I just realized I can use Spark Man against Magnet Man, so the next one was Snake Man, right? What works against Snake Man? I always forgot. Because I never fight Snake Man with a special weapon. Don't whiz on the electric fence. I don't know where that came from, Brandon. That was random. Good old Ren and Stimpy. Called Jackson Galaxy. Alright, so we're gonna need... Hard Man would be useful. Not here. No, it's this fight, yeah. Do we use Gemini? I forgot. I know we use Hard Man, and I know we use Snake Man. At least you got a couple meows out of it. Okay. My irritated cat meow was spot on. Well, I hope I didn't set your dogs off. Oh, an MT Shark, you were right, man. I actually didn't even see your message. I was just gonna try Needle anyway. And yeah, it worked against Snake Man very well. Remember, Top Man is one you can use here as well. It's funny they give you all these, like, extra lives, and... why? What does it matter if you get a game over here? This is the checkpoint. You just walk right... I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. This is why I feel like in Mega Man 3, they just, like... they're like, alright, it's the end of the development process, let's just cut and paste some levels together and not refine them at all. Overanalyzing things, Austin. Stop that. And like right here, you know, really they should have just made you take his entire health bar away, not just half. Come on. Do your thing, thank you. There's actually a couple ways you can do this. I think Top Man works on him, but Snake Man also works too. They wanted this game to be easier until the Mega Man 2 boss fights, and then they just wanted you to throw your cartridge out the window. What can be easier than 2? Mega Man's 5 and 6, honestly. Mega Man 2 has its moments. I think it's harder to get through Mega Man 2 unscathed than it is to get through Mega Man 3 unscathed. At least in terms of like the normal levels. And Mega Man 2 does have some hard boss fights, you know? Quick Man gives a lot of people trouble. I mean, Heat Man could be troublesome as well if you don't do it just right. The same with Airman. If you're trying to get past Airman without taking damage, that's tough. So... they all have their easy fights and their hard fights. That's kind of how I look at it. Mega Man 3, though, man, like Shadow Man is a major pain. He's totally doable with just the Mega Buster. I've done it multiple times. And Needle Man, you have to be on your toes, but Gemini Man, oh god, like, that's kind of like a Fireman scenario from Mega Man 1. I don't even know how you're supposed to do that with just the Mega Buster. Yeah, Georgia, it does come off that way. Like you think that this should have been like the last Mega Man, but no, this is where Capcom started milking things, as they're so famously, or I should say infamously, known for now, is milking every last drop out of their franchises. And it kind of started with Mega Man 4. And actually, you know, it's... I don't want to be too negative about that, because I loved Mega Man 4, like... But then they made Mega Man 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then 5 games on the Game Boy, and then Mega Man 8, and then... Oh, God, it just kept... They made a racing game, they made 2 arcade games, they made... that's not even counting the X series, so... Hey, no problem, Andy Arthur. I'm going to be wrapping things up here in a minute anyway. So, thanks for hanging out, man. Nothing dot. Yeah, you should totally play the first 6. They're fun games. Even the ones that are my least favorite, like 5 and 6, like I still enjoy playing them. Hey, Brandon, Michael Macker, take care, man. Dude, thanks for tuning in, man. Always love having you here, dude. See ya, Payne. Everybody's heading off now. It's actually good timing. Mega Man, the survival horror game. I'm surprised they haven't made one yet. I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't done that. Yep, Mega Man on Game Gear. To be fair, that was licensed out to somebody else. Capcom didn't actually make that one. I want to do a Let's Play on Mega Man on Game Gear, so I'm going to have to fire that up on emulation sometime and try to run through that game. Tony, my man, it's called emulation, dude. Or flashcards. But yeah, Mega Man on Game Gear is a fairly uncommon game, so... Georgia would play a Mega Man dating sim. Hey, see ya, Mark, Empty Shark. Mark the Shark. Hey, no problem, Encrypted Printer. Yep, Mega Man Soccer. Hey, thanks, Miku. Mega Man cooking sim. What would you cook, Ronnie, if there was a Mega Man cooking sim? There probably has been one in Japan, I just don't know about it. Mega Man Extreme Skating. Or Extreme Sports. Mega Man on rollerblades. Mega Man on snowboard. Mega Man on skateboards. Mega skydiving. Oh my god. Mega bungee jumping, man. Oh man, we could totally take this into extreme territory. Now I'm a little sad that these things haven't been done. Like, just imagine that. Yeah, you would most likely cook using gears. I could see that, yeah. Hey, see ya, Christopher T. Thanks for becoming one of the crew. Coming out of lurk status. And any lurkers out there, feel free to jump in the chat in the future. We're not gonna bite. I mean, Ronnie might, but aside from him, you know, I think we're all pretty cool. Pretty chill. Try to be chill for the most part. Alright, Ronnie, that's a little... Yeah, I don't know about that one. Mega Man Funeral Director Sim. I think that would be a pretty boring game. A Hard Man spin-off. I will bite your ear off like Mike Tyson. I can actually picture that, Ronnie. It's not a pleasant image thinking about that. Ugh. Oh, alrighty guys. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. So, man, thanks for hanging out tonight. We had a really great turnout. Definitely my best turnout yet on live stream on YouTube here. So, if anybody just tuning in or anybody that's only caught a part of the stream, feel free to check the archive once it's done. It's going to take probably an hour or two from now to process, and then it should be posted after that. Tune in Sunday for another Let's Play, and also feel free to check out my recent upload of Zoop, Unforeseen Favorites, which is a new series I'm doing. I don't know how frequently I'm doing it, but it is a new series I've had planned for a long time, and so I finally kicked it off with that episode. It's a scripted video series, so I haven't done one of those in a while, so feel free to check that out. Drop a comment, say hello there, let me know what you think of it, and yeah. Yeah, likewise, Sinful. Take care, man. It's good to see you again, dude. I think it's like, I saw your comments on one of my videos like last week or something, and then aside from that, I haven't heard from you in months, dude, so it's great hearing from you, man. No problem, Georgia. Thanks for hanging out. See ya, 323 Gonzalez. And Tony, take care, man. You've been here the whole time. And I will try to stream on Twitch later this weekend. I've got a couple. I need to try to get another video recorded, and then I have another side project that I'm working on for someone that I probably shouldn't really talk about right now. So, but I'll post a link to it on like all the social media places, and I'll probably make a quick update video letting you guys know it's ready once it's posted on this gentleman's channel. But I'm looking forward to doing that. But I probably need to work on that this weekend too. So, but I'll try to stream on Twitch sometime this weekend. We'll see when. But alrighty, guys, you take it easy, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys there next Thursday. So, alrighty.